Now, the United States military is backing France's operation against Islamist militants in Mali, airlifting French soldiers and equipment to the West African nation. The threat posed by al-Qaeda-linked groups in the region may be providing strong motivation for the international community to act. I'm joined now by Professor Robert Patman from Otago University. Good morning, Professor.
Good morning, Rachel.
Why have the French, specifically the French, intervened in Mali?
Well, because they've basically estimated that the insurgency which began at the end of 2011 was reaching the point where the capital of Mali, Bamako, where 8,000 French citizens lived, was actually threatened. And so they decided they couldn't wait any longer. That France has been trying to galvanise the international community and indeed has got support from the UN through agreement of a number of West African states to bring in a force of 3,000. That was scheduled for September of this year, but of course the French decided they had to act now, and they believe that this insurgency is a major threat, not just to Mali and the region, but as Francois Hollande, the French president, put it, to global security.
I was on Mali's border last year, Mali's border with Niger, and there were refugees coming across the border then, and they were talking about, rape and murder and stonings. And when I spoke to them and asked the refugees, who was carrying out this, they said just the Arabs from the north. So who are these men that are committing some of these crimes?
It's fair to say there's a combination of regional conditions and local conditions which generated the insurgency. There has been fallout from Libya. Colonel Gaddafi, before he was overthrown, had relied on the Tuareg Malians. They were soldiers who fought for him, but after he was overthrown they returned to Mali and they reinvigorated or resumed a separatist agenda. They were joined in this struggle by Islamist militants, some of whom had links to al-Qaeda. And it's that combination which is also domestic conditions. In April 2012 there was a military coup in which a democratically elected government of Mali was overthrown and replaced by a military regime, which if anything only fuelled the insurgency. Added to that has been the poor performance of the Malian national government. All these factors contributed to a scenario where the French, as the former colonial power, felt they had no choice but to intervene.
And so all of this, is this seen as an escalation, if you like, of terrorist groups, some with links to al-Qaeda, looking to get or open up a new front in North Africa?
I think so, and they've been quite successful in places like Somalia. But, one thing I think we have to be very clear about here, Rachel, is that there are local and regional conditions fuelling this. And although the French intervention has been quite successful so far, they've driven out the Islamic militants in two major towns in Mali, we have to be careful not to confuse military intervention as being the solution for Mali's problems. There's no indication of strong domestic support for the Sharia law agenda of the Islamic militants, but at the same time there are conditions such as poverty, and also corruption, political corruption, which have fuelled this domestic discontent. And any intervention which just looks to use force will be treating the symptoms rather than the causes of the insurgency in Mali.
All right, Professor Robert Patman, we have to leave it there. Thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you.